Self-paced instruction. That shouldn't be too hard to handle. It's just reading some books and watching some television. Sound like it could even be relaxing. Well, there's a lot more to it than just that. I'd like to tell you about what self-paced instruction really is and what you can expect from it. You'll be a bit surprised. First of all, let's understand what we mean by instruction in the traditional sense. That's probably how each of us was taught when we went to school. A teacher talked to us about the subject, perhaps math or reading, and we dutifully went about taking careful notes. Later we tried to put into order all the information we received, some the instruction, some from books. We had to decide what was important and what was not. We had to do this because we would be examined at the end of the course. Now, what we knew and what we were tested on were often quite different. No matter how hard we tried, we never were quite able to guess all that would be on the examination. If we'd had more time, or we had known what was important, we would have done better. What's different about self-paced instruction? Well, the first thing that you'll notice is that you'll be allowed to perform as an individual and not as a member of a class, but on your own and at your own rate. You decide when you feel you know the information well enough. The second difference is that you will know at the beginning of each lesson exactly what is the most important thing for you to learn. Nothing is kept secret from you. Each lesson tells you what you will be able to do after completing the lesson. You won't have to guess what is important or what will be examined. You will know in advance and have only to spend your efforts mastering that information. You'll also have the option of deciding for yourself whether you need to study portions of the course. If you are confident of your knowledge, you can decide to proceed ahead to areas where you want to know more. The third difference about self-paced instruction, you'll notice, is the variety of resources that are available for your use. You'll find printed text, photographs, drawings, and sketches. Most importantly, you'll discover the excitement of learning from watching events happen in true color on video. Each of us has a different way of learning. Some learn better by reading, others by watching, and still others by a combination of these methods. So you have a variety of sources to use, but you will have to decide for yourself which ones work best for you. You may find that some resources are quite helpful and others are not. Don't feel obligated to use something that doesn't work for you. Remember, in self-paced instruction, you decide. The fourth important difference about self-paced instruction is the method of examination. If you can decide what and how to study, then you should be able to determine when you know the material well enough to be examined. Sometimes you will know the material even before studying. You may have worked around the machinery and gotten the necessary experience. On the other hand, you might find that some of the information is new to you, and you will have to study it in order to meet the performance objective. Either way, you can use the progress check at the end of each lesson to find out whether you fully understand. The answers are there too, so you'll know immediately if you've made an error. Each progress check is yours to study and learn from. You don't have to show it to anyone else or be embarrassed by any mistakes you might have made. It is another learning resource for you to use. The training program that you'll soon begin was designed with you, the trainee, in mind. All of the materials were developed to make your job easier, to help you learn faster and better. We believe that trainees who have control over their curriculum will work harder than those who do not. We believe that trainees who are informed in detail of the objectives of their training will work more pointedly than those who are not. And lastly, we believe that each qualified trainee should be allowed the time he needs to master the subject. I think you, like many others, will quickly find this to be one of the most exciting learning experiences you've ever had. Before you begin, let me show you what's available and how to use it. The Student Learn Guide is your most important tool. It is a group of learning materials and instructions presented to you in the form of module booklets. Inside each module booklet, you'll find the first page tells you what the module is about and gives you some information about the individual lessons of that module. Notice that an approximate time is indicated. This can help you decide whether you have the time to begin and finish any lesson. Remember that you may require more or less time than indicated to complete a lesson, and you decide how much time you require. Each lesson starts by giving you an overview or short description of what the lesson is about, and then lists the performance objectives. Always review the objectives before you begin each lesson. You may find that you know the material well enough to skip to the self-correcting progress check at the end of the lesson and not waste your time on something you already know. Following the objectives, the lesson begins. Notice here how the information is presented in short blocks, easy to read, and with plenty of room for you to write notes as you watch the video lesson. At the conclusion of each lesson in the Learning Guide, you'll find the progress check. This is your opportunity to check your understanding and your achievement of performance objectives. You'll find the correct answers right there in the answer key. By comparing your answers with the key, you'll know immediately how well you've done. Now you decide whether you need to take some additional time to review or feel confident of going forward to the next lesson. Should you wish to review, replay the videotape lesson and reread the same lesson in the Learning Guide. If there is still some difficulty in understanding the performance objective or the progress check questions, turn to the study resources listed at the end of the module, or talk to your learning supervisor. He may be able to provide you with just the right explanation to help you. When you complete all the lessons in the module booklet, you should feel prepared to take the module knowledge test. Together, you and your learning supervisor can determine whether you can progress to the next module booklet or whether you should spend a little more time studying this module. A record will be kept of your progress through the modules, and at the completion of the course, you will be awarded a certificate indicating your achievement. Now that we've looked at the Learning Guide, let's turn to the video portion of the course to see how you use it in your study. First, you'll need to become familiar with using the video equipment. When you are ready to begin a lesson, turn to the lesson in the Learning Guide. Insert the tape in the player and advance to the lesson according to the counter indicator. Here we are studying lesson 2, so we advance to 201 on the indicator and then start the tape. Remember to check to be certain that you are watching the video lesson that supports the Learning Guide in front of you. It can be easy to take the wrong video cassette from library. You will find that the video lesson is very similar to the printed lesson. There are the same performance objectives, followed by a description of the lesson's most important facts. Each video lesson concludes with a review of exactly what you should remember from that lesson. If you know all of what is in the review, you will have no trouble with progress check at the end of the printed lesson. So there it is, the learning system designed so that you can learn at your own pace and in your own way. We know that you'll find it to be worth your time, certain that it will help you in your job. Take a few moments now to review Module 1. You'll find that it explains the learning system as I described it to you, and perhaps will answer some of the questions. Oh yes, only in Module 1 will you learn without performing, for there is no examination on Module 1. When ready, take Module 2 from the library and begin.